What's up, everyone? DJ Nubis.
And DJ Neko.
Here with you on the Meltdown Radio podcast with another episode of Vintage Cult Cinema. And this one is a little bit more special tonight because of the recent passing of our star from this film, Val Kilmer, who was 65, and of course, dealing with his own health issues, but it still catches you off guard when it happens. So, rest in peace, Val. And we're going to talk about your one movie that we really, really love, The Saint.
I know we bonded over The Saint. I think that's something that you and I, early on, we clicked really fast, just in general. And, oh, that's right.
What's up, Big Bad Wolf?
We are,
happening?
I guess we're a power couple. What? So speaking of being a power couple, we totally clicked like immediately over a lot of different things. And, you know, when you're meeting somebody new, 20 million years ago, like we met, we brought up The Saint and music and all kinds of movies, The Crow, that we loved. And I think for me, I fell in love with this movie the minute I saw it, and I watched it over and over and over again back when it came out in 97? Yeah, 97. 97 should not be allowed to be vintage.
Oh, it is now.
I know. Anything technically, if you want to get.
Oh, I'm old. I'm definitely old. I ain't getting around that.
Technically, if you're thinking about something when they're categorizing, vintage is 20 years old. So
we're almost there with this one, but the reality is part of this whole podcast itself is to select films that not many people will talk about. Because really, when I think of Val Kilmer, obviously Top Gun, Tombstone, like playing Doc Holliday is like one of his best roles ever.
Yeah, and
then you think like The Doors. In fact, there was a piece of trivia where when he was, I think Val learned like 55 songs from The Doors before he actually did the movie.
That was a very serious actor.
So he, as he's singing it, the band themselves that were left out, obviously Morrison had been gone already, but the band couldn't tell the difference between him and Morrison. That's how close it was. Yeah, exactly. I'll be your Huckleberry.
I'm your Huckleberry.
But as far as his movies, like this is my favorite from him because it's very good. And I've got some trivia that's going to kind of blow people's minds a little bit in terms of like how it was received or what was expected from the film. But to kind of give us an idea of what's going on with this film, The Saint is a 1997 American action thriller directed by Philip Noyce. It stars Val Kilmer, Elizabeth Shue, and Rade Cerbasi. And I know I'm butchering that guy's name, but he's a great actor, and I've seen him in a lot of different things. But he plays Trediak in this film as the early
Trediak.
Yeah, this guy here. If I pull up his picture real quick, that's our main villain here, and of course his son here also does a great job in this, or the guy portraying his son, which is very cool. But of course we got the man himself, Val. He plays Simon Templar, who as a kid was an orphan who got in trouble. It was like a Catholic orphanage or something like that.
It was a Catholic orphanage.
Strict, really strict about how they disciplined. They considered the kids born out of sin, and they were kind of, for a place that's supposed to be loving, it wasn't very loving to these kids. And Simon was kind of like the rebellious young boy, and so he would oftentimes get in trouble, but then do things like open up the cage where all the food was kept so all the kids could eat, so they wouldn't be punished anymore. But he took on a lot of that punishment that the priests and the nuns would give.
Yeah, he was the whipping boy of the orphanage, definitely.
But that led to an accident where one little girl that he loved, yeah, he was in love with, kid he loved. Basically, she had an accident where she fell off the railing and fell to her death, and that sort of scarred him for life at that point. But he grew up into a thief that would steal for money and was pretty damn good at it. He's always been very good at picking locks and getting into places that he shouldn't be. So it's no surprise that that's kind of where his path in life took him, which leads him to basically go and try to steal a microchip.
We have to talk about his disguises.
Oh, yeah.
So he's stealing this microchip.
The one that, that one, yeah. So first, he's in his like sort of like Mission Impossible guy. He's got the mask on and doing all that, and he's gotten in, but something happens where the young this guy here that I had to pull up, he kind of like goes out for a smoke or a piss, but then realizes something doesn't seem right because the place that Val's get into, which is named Simon again, is a vault. Hey, please shut up. Sorry, my cat is going crazy. So he's trying to get in the vault, but the young mafia son figures it out and catches him while he's in the process.
And he's dressed like the Australian, remember?
Yeah, he has the accent. He's
and he's got like the hair is like a little salt and peppery, and oh my god.
Yeah, so he's basically just got the accent. He's talking Australian. He's trying to barter with the mafia son about money.
He's like, "Yes, Sonny."
Yeah, yes,
what did he say? I'll give you half or
50%. And the mafia son's like, "Well, I got money. I don't need yours." But he wants the chip because even he didn't have access to the chip. This guy kind of figured Simon did all the work for him, so he's going to try to take it off of him. But Simon's able to get his way out of it. He jumps off the building and basically lands on like this truck bed where it's cushioned enough. I think it was a long fall too. But that's the one thing about Simon is he's always been using like names of saints as he's impersonating different people throughout his life. And even on the earlier when he's on the plane and he's got this necklace that he's got the chip in. Well, he knows that authorities and Interpol will be looking for him with that chip.
And he's got like a million different passports.
But what he did is he uses this girl that passes by on the plane and she's very intrigued by the cross. So he's like, "Yeah, you want to look at it?" And he's got a different accent, different look, long hair, and different saint name. And he basically woos her and lets her wear it while they meet later on so she can get by security at the airport while he has to kind of deal with shenanigans, but they can't find anything on him. So, but there is a pair of Interpol individuals who keep thinking they got him, but they just can never narrow it down. They're like, "Yeah, the chin's different and the accent's different, but it looks kind of like him." They just never quite get him. So, but one of our favorites that Neko and I really love is when he's pulling off this look.
I'm believing in that confusion mumbo jumbo.
Yeah. So
I'm gonna expose her.
Yeah. So anyway, he gets the chip, but then he tries to bargain with our mafia guy, the Trediak, who's also fighting for power in Russia. He's trying to go against.
He's trying to overthrow the current president.
He's kind of like a mafia guy, but because Russia's dealing with the cold and like no heat, and
they have no fossil fuels. People are burning. You'll find, later in the movie here, people are burning like anything wood to keep warm. There once was an elevator in this one, tenement that they took it and burned it because they don't have any heating fuel. Like it's literally like us. If I'm cold, I go jack it up. Oh, that sounded dirty. But I go just turn it up a little bit. Oh, I 70, I'd like it to be 72. But they don't even have that option because they can't even get the power grid to give them fuel. So everybody is kind of like fending for themselves, except for the very, very rich, like the mafia guy.
Yeah.
Trediak.
But obviously, he's trying to work out a deal with Trediak for this chip. But of course, as they discover, the mafia guy's like, "Well, I want you to do something else for me, and that's to get these notes or these."
It's the equation for cold fusion.
Yes.
That I forgot Elizabeth Shue's character's name. Emma Russell she's the only one that, and God, she was just so gorgeous and amazing in this, because she's playing a brilliant, strong woman, like, and I've always,
think she's a fox.
She's a fox. Later.
But yeah, so I agree. I think this is one of her best roles. Most beautiful in this. I think it's her best look. And then, again, one of my favorite roles. Now, obviously, some people recognize her from Karate Kid as well as The Boys.
She was great. She's a great actress. Yes. I just feel like sometimes we forget about her because she kind of flies under the radar. And then when she does something like The Boys, you're like, and did she just not look exactly the same in The Boys?
Or even, like, even in the Cobra Kai when she made her cameo.
Yeah, like stunning. Exactly the same. I don't know what she's doing. She's probably
vampire.
What maybe it's, remember that movie? I think it was Death Becomes Her, where they have like the potion of life, and it's like, but you just can't die, or you can't like hurt yourself to the point where you actually like break your neck or something, right? That was that Meryl Streep and
Meryl Streep, Cher, and Goldie Hawn, I think.
So I think she does that. She's part of that cult because that's 97, and if you watch The Boys season 1 and 2, was she in 2 as well, or just 1?
Well, I don't think she made it 1. I think it was season 2, because I think season 1 ended when Johnny was texting her.
No, I'm talking about The Boys.
Oh, she was in season 1 for that. Yeah.
And so if you look at her in Cobra Kai, like, she looks amazing, and I want to know. I want to know. I'll join your cult.
But anyway, Trediac wants him to get these equations because it will help his guy discover cold fusion, which will give him an edge in their fight for power against the current administration.
Because it's free. You can make it from water.
So then that sends, of course, our boy here to dress up as the supposed journalist who is end up talking to Emma Russell at first as they're in the classroom.
Have you heard of this, Dr. Russell?
Yeah, and he's like, I don't believe in that mumbo jumbo.
I don't believe this cold fusion.
So when they introduce her and she gets up and walks away, he's like, oops. So, but he has other great disguises. We have one here where he's pretending to be like an intermediary to the spy that he's playing as well.
And they're like, oh,
to Trediac. So he's like, there's a point where they know it's him, but he's pretending that it's not him. So he goes and says, well, let me talk to my employer. And then he walks over.
Goes and finds a lady.
Random lady just sitting there. And he's like,
he's probably flirting with her or something, just whispering something sweet.
Right.
So you look so pretty. I'll get you a coffee later.
Right. And so like Trediac and his son are like, yeah, this guy's funny, but
it's him.
Yeah, it's him. Holy hey, looks like a video.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen this film? John, did you ever see this one?
This movie holds such a dear place in my heart. Like, I mean, I remember he had, this is 97. You guys, you youngins out there, we got the internet in our hands. You could do whatever you want. I actually had stuff at work, things right here. Back then, you were lucky if you could text and talk. But his phone, it was like a little skinny bar, and it flipped up. This is before.
Oh, it was a BlackBerry.
Yeah, it was, but it wasn't. It wasn't like the traditional BlackBerry that was
right.
It flipped up and it had a little thing, and he is sending
Well, I won't give you a flag because that's the whole kind of point of this podcast series, is kind of let people kind of discover things they hadn't maybe not seen, because a lot of people know Tombstone, they know Top Gun, they know a lot of Val's more popular
Batman
roles, Weird Science. I'm not Weird Science, but Real Genius from the 80s. But this one was one that kind of just went under the radar, and even though it did okay,
it was the
yeah. But there is a point where Simon goes and he gets into her apartment because he's got to do research. This is how he researches people that he's going to try to swindle or whatever. And the funny thing is, usually he's a womanizer, so he doesn't really care. But this is going to end up being a difficult thing with him with Emma Russell because he ends up falling for her just as much as she does him. She's got heart issues. She takes pills for. Very sweet gal. He's not, and she's not anything like Tradiak tried to portray as being cagey or difficult. She's just very innocent and very.
And
she's very
very, very proud of her work.
Yes. So he goes to her apartment. He's kind of researching, knowing that she lost her dad, who had long hair and was a free spirit, and so there's this thing that she's got deep down about daddy issues. So he ends up dressing up kind of like his character from The Doors almost. It's like this another saint.
He's got like the poet's blouse. And...
Which it should be noted, the poetry that he does during that was written by him. So he actually read his own poetry, which is kind of cool.
Did you mention what I did earlier before we started? Like, this only got 30% on Rotten Tomatoes. And to me, this is... when we talk about like, it's not a perfect movie, but it's like a 9 out of 10 for me.
Is it really bad? Or
yeah, it's really not.
No, it's a fantastic film, which is weird because apparently at one point, Val ran into Roger Moore, who did the character from the TV series back in the day. And apparently Val just out of nowhere said, I guess we screwed up, didn't we? And that was in reference to the movie, because Val had said he had read some of the books to which the series was based, and he thought the books were way better. And Roger didn't say anything about his comment, but like to me and to her, this film is quite good. Like I don't know much about.
We could have had how many Saint movies? Like, why did we have all these James Bond movies but not Saint movies?
Well, in his autobiography, I'm Your Huckleberry, Val Kilmer explained that he intended this film to be the first installment of a film series which he planned to produce as well as star in. Despite this film being a financial success, for one reason or another, no further films were made. And that's depressing. But you know, the funny thing about Val, though, is I think he always kind of did this because he had success with Batman Forever. But he chose to abandon it because he wanted to do this film. And that was one of his things that people would say is that he never really wanted to commit long-term to anything. So him wanting to do a series out of this doesn't make a lot of sense. I mean, maybe he was planning on it, but he's the kind of guy that would just kind of jump from role to role. So I don't really know if that would have ever come to fruition, even if he had money or financial support to back it, because he was often known to just kind of like, I don't feel like doing that anymore. I want to do something else.
Well, he was, I think for him, and we watched, and I might watch it again tonight while I'm, cleaning up the dishes. How we watched that documentary, I Am Val.
It was really good, too.
And it was amazing. And he was a person, again, we have everything available here. It's a camera, it's a video camera, it's the internet, it's your email, it is your, banking institution, all here. He had warehouses filled with VHS tapes because he always was documenting what he was doing.
Very forward thinking.
I mean, his son, when he saw all of this and he was kind of like being the voice of his dad in this documentary and kind of speaking over, he would be recording backstage. Val Kilmer took himself very seriously as an actor. And I think that might be why if something didn't go quite as well, like Batman did not go well for him at all. Like he was getting shit from the director. They were criticizing his acting, and when you hear kind of like his side of the story, he's like, they made the suit so restrictive I couldn't even turn my body. So that's why, like, if they would say things like he looked like robotic and stuff, he was like, I couldn't even move. So Val would keep journals, and he would record things. And I don't even know if it's forward thinking, but I just think it's like retrospective for him, or maybe it was his own little therapy, because
Well, sometimes too, it's just based on technology. So, we watched the one on L7, the band, they were doing similar things. And so you have this technology.
I think they were having fun with it.
Right. But then it ends up turning into something you can use later as a doc and say, yeah, this is stuff that we caught, back in our heyday, and we didn't think we'd ever use it, but here we go. Anyway, back to the movie. He ends up dressing as someone similar to her father. So he's like this rock star traveler, and they end up getting to know each other through his poetry and his accent.
And they were having a nice little coffee and
actually, it was
champagne.
Yeah.
I am drunk.
Then he plays hard to get a little bit and cuts himself purposely so that she'll.
There was a man, and he
clean him up, and they get ready to initiate sex, to where he actually stops. He's like, can I just hold you? Because he does seem to feel like he's starting to get too involved with her.
I wish Val Kilmer would just say, "Can I just hold you to me?"
But in the next morning, he takes her equations that she keeps on Post-it notes. That's something that she's always kept to herself.
And she puts them in her bra.
So then he writes like, "I'm sorry," each one of the blank ones, and these, of course, she's upset. To which she then goes and
she's
the authorities
pissed.
Involved. They explain to her that he's been doing this for a while. He has different disguises, and she figures out, which the police didn't, that he's using saints' names. This is something that the police have not even realized. So they eventually catch up to him, and of course they try to arrest him, but then they also arrest her because the cops are
dirty,
owned by Tradiak and his son, the Mafia. So, but before they can get him to Tradiak, he gets them out of the bind, out the back of the truck, and gone. So now they're on the run, and the Mafia, of course, the Mafia's son is after them.
This part is like, it's like my heart was pounding watching this part, because they're right by that water.
Yeah.
Oh.
And he fell in, and he had to stay on it for a little bit because they were hunting him. It's dead winter, so it's cold as fuck. And by the time he gets back out, he's got to try to find warmth, which in Russia right at this point, there's hardly any warmth. So he could go through hypothermia just being out in the cold.
And don't forget the part where she was like having her heart issue, and he's like, "I palmed your medicine."
Yep.
So he knew that she would need her medicine. So he
he did like this with the cuss, but then of course he makes the comment that I always love. He's like, "Why you're down there?" And he's like looking at it. He kicks out his boot, which is almost like James Bondish, and he's got his like little pocket knife thing he's got there. He can unlock the shackles, and that's how they get out of the truck. But so they find this apartment building that's derelict, but there's people living in it, and one girl tries to help them out because she understands they're Americans running away from the Mafia. And some of these people are not big fans of the Mafia as it is. However, because times are tough, the Mafia son's like offering money for somebody to tell them where they are hiding, because the one girl hides them in like this little cubby hole.
Yeah, that's like wall. A smuggling area.
Yeah. So there's a lot of cat and mouse stuff. They eventually, he's able to get her through the tunnel system underneath, like the sewage area. And there's like, for whatever reason, there's like people down there that are hoarding art and trying to sell goods through that means down there. But they end up giving him a way to get towards the American
That's right.
embassy.
She wanted his watch.
Yeah, at one point. She's like,
I don't think I remember the way.
It's almost as bright as that Bulgarian watch. So she manages to finagle that out. But the idea is to get Dr. Russell back to the American embassy. And there is a part where they get close enough, and they're underneath. They go to the top underneath the truck, and he's going to make a distraction while she makes a run for the gate, because obviously the Mafia is all there looking for them. They kind of have an idea of where they're hanging out at. And so he does manage to get like a nice distraction, but the sun almost catches Russell as she gets to the gate of the American Embassy.
And she's like, I'm an American. I'm an American.
And I forgot, like, he'd spit in this black dude's face, the soldier, because, you know, he doesn't get her. And the soldier says, get away from the gate. And he keeps telling him this, and finally he spits in the black guy's face. I'm like, oh, I bet that went over well. Yeah. But you know, luckily it's like, he didn't just like shoot the mafia guy. Like, that would be funny. So, anyway, she's safe in the embassy, but they now have Simon. What Simon like sets off an explosion which burns
Miracle
the
One.
son's face. So now he's gotten away again, but his plan, he sneaks back into the embassy with yet another disguise and another name. Was it Christopher?
Hold on, I have a list of all of his aliases.
Okay.
Hold on.
It's got to be in here somewhere.
And during this time,
something Christopher. So I just watched it earlier, but
you watched it?
I had to refresh my science. You said you remembered it by heart.
I do remember most of it, but are we skipping the part where he goes to see the president? Or is that that's now? Okay. Coming, yeah. Okay. Hold on. It's a good name too.
August Christopher.
Yeah, there we go. I just found it.
So yeah, so he catches up with them in embassy. She was supposed to go on a plane, but there was some the mafia was supposed to go with her. They were going to try to either capture or kill her. One of the two.
Pretend that you have just developed a serious fear of flying.
Yeah. And so now it's like he's got to go, and he tells her like to finish her, because she has the equation, but she hasn't really pieced it all together to where it works, and she's never tested it. So she can only assume that it will work. But he wants her to finish it and put it in order, and then basically fax him the last part that the Russians need, because Tretiak has most of it that Simon was trying to sell to him earlier, but not all of it to complete it. And at this point, Tretiak is figuring that he's going to use the failed equation to destroy the president. So he's going to say, president's been using all your money to try to create cold fusion, but instead he can't light this light bulb. And so he's going to use that as a failure to get the people to vote for Tretiak to remove the president in the current spot. But Simon has other plans. So he goes, infiltrates the building where the president is, dressed as a Russian, talks Russian, of course, gets into the room where the president is and explains to him, if you want to destroy Tretiak, I need you to admit to everything he accuses you of. And this comes after he just gave the final equation to the scientist working on the cold fusion for Tretiak, who doesn't know that it's going to ruin Tretiak. He thinks it's all going to be good because he's supposed to make it work.
Yeah, he's like, here's what we have. And he's like, it's incomplete. It's all mumbo jumbo.
Mumbo jumbo. So before they can do anything else, the guards come in, and Tretiak's guards come in, and they arrest the president as well as Simon, and then put them up there on stage in the middle of all these people in the open next to what do you call that big building? The Kremlin? What is that? Yeah. So they basically stand out there, and they've got this machine that's supposed to be the cold fusion machine. And so this is where Tretiak's basically saying, this guy's been wasting your money. We're going to prove it because this machine does not work.
The president is selling you a magic trick.
Yeah, it can't even light this light bulb. And then as he's doing it, it's working. It's literally lighting the bulb and then breaking it. And then all you see this energy light going to the sky, and like the people are just fucking amazed. They're like looking at this, and people are like, and then all of a sudden they start rooting for the president.
Yeah, and they start like rioting.
Yeah.
And he goes, miracle number 2.
Yeah. Such a phenomenal actor. We lost a legend. Yes, we did. Yes, we did.
We did.
But yeah, so it starts working. And of course, in the embassy, Emma Russell and people in there watching this are very happy for her. They're excited because she wants to use cold fusion for free for the world, to help out the world and save a lot of our energy.
And he was he even approached her and said, "Do you know how much money we can make off of this?"
That's the thing. He didn't believe it at first, and then he started to believe it. And then when he realized that if it works, it's worth millions, and that's kind of he's always seen things through a dollar sign. Now in this case, he wants to share it with her. He's like, "Look, you know, you're going to be a trillionaire if
like
you do this.
You
like,
could, yeah,
you'll own the world." But she
like,
laughs at it because she's happy. She's in love with him, but deep down, she doesn't want to do that.
She's like, why? At the one point when she realized that then I'm backtracking a little bit, but a comment that she made was, "Why would you take it from me? I would have given them to you."
Yeah.
Cold fusion is free.
Yeah.
For everybody.
Yeah, she managed to like still figure him out, find him after, he took the equations earlier in the movie. And so he was kind of shocked by that too. Like, again, I think he felt like a kind of appreciation that she hunted him down, but he was also kind of snarky about it. He's like, "Nah, you didn't want your notes back. You just did it for love." Basically slapped her in the face, and she was hurt. And he says, "Point proven." But yeah, so with this happening with the cold fusion machine and the people turning against Tradiac, they get arrested and they're going to be tried for treason and everything else, which then leads us towards the end of the film where Simon has to stay hidden for a while because, again, Interpol and a lot of these other authorities are still looking for him for crimes that he's committed. So he's got like a cabin somewhere, and then Emma Russell drives out there and they meet up again. And they're happy. And that's where he kind of says, you're going to be the richest woman on the planet. But the next morning she's giving a speech at a university and she leaves him a note saying, I'm not gonna sell this. You're either going to love me this way or not, but it's going to be free to the world. So she leaves him the little saint pin, which you will see is the symbol used in the TV show from the 60s. So he catches up with her at the university real quickly and decides that he agrees. Like, he's not mad at her really. He understands where she's coming from. He's got money still.
He's only got like, I remember at the beginning he's like, "Oh, I only need like $5 more million." It was like something ridiculous.
He's trying to hit 50 million. That was it. He's like, "I need 3 million. I'm done." And it's like he always had it like set on 50 million for whatever reason. But then we get our fun character back who is going to end up watching her speech, but the two Interpol agents are still there and they're kind of looking around for him. He sits down by one of them, and that's of course where he's like, "I think she's a fox." Yeah, and he's like,
"I think she's a fox."
Yeah, just talking to the agent. The other agent kind of sees him and tries to get him like, "Look, that's him. That's him." And of course, Simon gets up, as running away, gets away, drives in a nice Volvo, which at the time I think I wanted one of those Volvos from that movie.
Well, he was also out. I think it was in partnership with this movie, but Val Kilmer was doing those Volvo commercials as well.
Yeah, sure, absolutely, because they had a Volvo in the show too. So, so in the end, like, it turns out very good. That, just everybody's happy. But here's the funny thing about this movie that I did not know. In the original version of this movie, Dr. Russell collapses while giving a lecture and dies in the saint's arms. The saint sees Tradiac Jr. stabbing her in the leg with the tip of his cane. Thus, the final half hour has him set up to destroy the villain's plans and avenge her death. The director, Philip Noyce, hopes one day to be able to restore the original version for the director's cut.
No, I don't want that. I like the happy ending where they ride off into the cabin and nobody knows the wiser.
Right. Apparently they did that original version for the touchscreen.
Oh, and everybody was pissed.
They did not like that at all. And really, when you think about it, what's up, Jedi? What's up, my buddy? And there's also Matt Gojir 851. What's up, guys? Glad to see you.
Thanks for stopping by.
Yeah. So that took me back. I'm like, that's really a shitty fucking way to go. And a lot of people did not like that, obviously. So I'm glad that they went away from it. But you're going to hate Philip Noyce by the end of my trivia here. Obviously, the car driven by Simon is a Volvo C70, which again, I really like that car.
I can get you one.
Can you? Yeah, really.
Mhm.
Now here's where it gets really funny because, as with a lot of movies, there's a lot of people that expected to do roles and audition for roles, and apparently, Philip Noyce originally hoped that Mel Gibson would have played the lead.
Oh no!
Gibson was initially interested, but didn't decide that he had spent too long away from home making Graveyard. Thank you, Mel, for not taking that role. But other guys that were up for this, one of them's really funny. I don't know, his name always comes up, but whatever. So Sir Kenneth Branagh, George Clooney, Kevin Costner, Johnny Depp,
No Clooney.
Daniel Day-Lewis,
No.
and Arnold Schwarzenegger turned down the role of Simon Templar. Could you imagine Arnie doing the same?
The beauty of Simon Templar is his ability to disguise himself, and Arnold has none of that at all.
I think that's a lot too, because now aside from Daniel Day and maybe Brandon, but Brandon was kind of old by this, not real old, but kind of old. But Daniel Day, like Val is a lot more versatile as an actor.
Mhm.
So when you see him do all these different disguises and voices and everything, like he matches what is supposed to be happening.
Daisy Lewis is a very much a method actor, just like Val
Yeah.
Kilmer. But like this movie was meant. This movie was meant for
Get to the
Val.
cold fusion.
Dr. Emma Russell, we need to get out of here now.
I think she's a fox. Hey, Sonny.
I mean, he can't even be discreet. He's 6'5",
He's huge.
muscles everywhere.
I'm a journalist.
Look at me. You'll do what I say.
Chill out, Neko. Chill out, dickwad. Let's see. But here's the thing that also got me, aside from that alternate ending that was supposed to happen.
Alternate universe. I don't want that alternate
It
universe.
makes me want to punch the director in the face. I don't know if he still feels this way now, but apparently Philip Noyce said that he had made a mistake in casting Val Kilmer in the lead role and that he should have chosen Russell Crowe instead.
No. Who is the list of people that who
Turn it down?
Yeah.
Branagh, Clooney, Costner, Depp, Lewis, and Schwarzenegger.
The only one that could even have a chance might be Johnny Depp, I think. But he's also very it would have turned into like
a Burton film.
Yeah, it would have been like a really dark saint. We so funny. We so funny. So today at work.
With deputy.
Today at work I said something about Skynet, and and someone was like, "What?" I was like,
Skynet,
I was
we don't know what Skynet is.
They were like, I was like, "You never seen the Terminator? What?
What?
Can we put Joe Dirt in the vintage cult cinema?
You don't know what I mean.
Because that's mine.
Well, you're starting to claim all of them now.
Well, this could be our show.
Look at this shit. This is my show. My show.
Could be the DJ Neko
says
show.
Admit one. That means you're admitted one.
DJ Neko.
You're a goof.
But these are all like my favorite movies and shit.
Well, they're not mine.
Yeah,
Man,
but
ain't I the one that showed you them?
I saw this before I met you. What's another one that let's go back to your coming soon attractions
What, the ones I've been talking
that you
about?
put on your
My list?
yeah.
Well, where do you want to start? Because this is a lot.
Mhm.
Yeah, but see, we got to talk about this.
Okay, let's talk about Val. I'm so sorry, Val. I'm trying to honor your legacy. This is probably my favorite movie of yours.
It is my favorite of his. But even though Holiday is my favorite character from him, so Tombstone, his role in that is like masterful. Again, which just shows how fucking great of an actor he was. I mean, we even talked about it when we went to see Maverick.
Mm-hmm.
It was great that they put him in there because it allowed us to kind of get that last moment with Iceman, even though it's a character. But Cruise said he wouldn't do it unless he was in that film. And so I'm so fucking glad that he did that. And I'm sure Tom is very happy that he had a chance to have that.
And you didn't put that on your top 10 worst deaths either when, Iceman died in Maverick.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of them to consider. Never turn down Falcon. Yes, yep. We always had too much fun. That's our problem.
This is kind of like my release for the day.
Therapeutic.
It's been very therapeutic for the kind of my new job is going well, but my second job is insane, and that would be my mother is my second job. But God bless her, and thank God for some family helping me, which I got my man here who has been checking on her every day since I went back to work. And I have my aunt who is really, really her job right now. She's a senior citizen too, but her job is to help senior citizens like make smart financial decisions. Like my mom is fine. Like she's perfectly fine, but she's overwhelmed right now. So my aunt is helping her get organized. It's hard for me because I don't know what the fuck's going on. I'm like,
Man, it's hard.
so this here, I had when Anubis had messaged me this morning about
Well, we
that.
were planning on doing this on Sunday. So the funny thing is, this was already planned as an episode, but it just so happened that Val passed. She's like, we gotta
talk about Val today.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, we're not even hitting on what was it, The Island of Dr. Moreau.
Well, that was a bad movie.
Yeah, but like he was with the fucking crazy actor. Michael or I'm gonna make an offer you can't refuse. Like, fuck, what? Help me, chat, help me before I can't.
Yeah, I always forget his name too. I shouldn't, but I do. Let's see.
There it is, Marlon Brando.
How do I always forget his name?
I know.
I should never forget his name.
So he's doing.
We're unstoppable. Can't stop us now.
Well, what I found really interesting, it was in that.
Oh, dude, yeah. Yeah, well, thanks for the late ad there. He
was there. He came in.
Yeah. I mean, dude, I can't wait to do a live stream with you. That's going to be a lot of fun. And I know that you're excited to get that started.
So. I'm happy for you, Jedi.
Mm-hmm. Which reminds me, you guys need to check your emails for my invites to the calendar. I want to see if you guys can access it and also post your own days of your shows. Like I'm trying to see if you can have access to do things on it because I'd like to have the schedule for us to collaborate with one another.
And if it doesn't work on Cozy, because I saw like I was just kind of like briefly looking. I haven't downloaded the app yet. I haven't like. I was just looking at our chat earlier.
I'm doing on desktop, so that's maybe why.
No. I mean, I was looking at our group chat in Facebook. Yeah. I know some people were having, had some questions. If we are having problems with it as a group, whoever was invited to Cozy, I know that Google Calendar,
so he works at Barnes and Noble.
He does?
Yeah. Yeah, he's a big shot over there.
I'm very jealous.
And I guess
being around all those books. I
wouldn't get nothing.
I know. I'm a book sniffer.
That used to happen all the time anyway.
He was a manager at Crown Books.
Yeah, they used to have me like in charge of the magazines when they came in on Fridays, and I didn't have to read magazines all day.
I love
New Metal Mag. All right.
I'm the type of person, and he knows it too. I read like 5 books at a time. I will be like, and they'll all be different. Like one might be nonfiction, one might be fiction, one could be about religion, metaphysical stuff, like random shit that I just feel like reading, autobiography. But I'm a book sniffer. Like I love.
That sounds dirty.
I love the smell of books. If I'm in Barnes and Noble, like I'll like flip. So Gujira, how many book sniffers do you know? Am I the only book sniffer? I mean, if you're important at Barnes and Noble, you should get like the book sniffer police and like shame them. But I have no shame. Like I could do a whole thing on me just like flipping through a book and going. And sometimes when it comes to me buying a book, if it doesn't have the right smell and the right weight in my hand and the right feel, I won't buy it. I know that's ridiculous, but it's the truth.
Well, a lot of the stuff that I had book-wise came from my time there because...
And that makes it even better because it's vintage book smell. It has that like...
Well, it's not just that.
No, the vintage book smell. The vintage has like, it's the degradation of the chemicals in the paper and the ink. So as it gets older, and I have some old books too, as they get older, they have this like, again, it's a chemical reaction from air. That's why like when people are scrapbooking and stuff, they get like the very specific paper, or they print their photos on stuff so that it doesn't degrade as quickly. I have some of my college literature books that I kept because they're like this thick and they have entire like plays and stories and stuff inside of them. And if I feel like, I'll drag one out and I'll just flip and sniff, and then I'll be like, okay, what do I want to read today? I love books. I only have 2 bookshelves right now, but many more to come.
Wasn't 9 inches.
Now, our operation is small, but there's a lot of potential for aggressive expansion.
Just have to play those. I love those all the time.
I love you all the time.
Oh, how nice.
I think you look really nice with your new glasses.
Yeah.
I
enjoy my long distance ones because they shade when the sun, so that's nice.
And those look really comfortable. Your old glasses, they looked like they were tight. Like those look like they have like it's softer on the side. Yeah.
Plus I don't have to worry about the nose things anymore.
I'm a big fan of plastic. I don't like metal glasses. Anybody else?
Very true. Very, very true.
Jedi, you wear glasses. Like, do you prefer plastic over metal or nah? Anyone else who wears glasses? Going once.
Let's get into our reading of this film.
Well, I think I said it earlier. I said 9 out of 10. It is not a perfect film, but it is I'll go 9.5 out of 10.
That's interesting. I still give it 10 out of 10.
You give away too many 10s.
No, I don't.
Yes, you do.
No, I don't. I didn't last night. Well, the other day, heavy metal actually went down. That was a 9.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
He gives out too many 10s.
No, I don't. Now, granted, there are films in my list that would be 10s because that's sort of the point. They're rare gems. Rare gems. Encased in plastic.
That's kind of cool. I like that.
Yeah.
These are new too.
It's the only thing I still have to worry about those because they have the little screws, so I have to pay attention, make sure they don't pop out, and I have to sit there and go, how can I get this back in?
Oh God, and I don't know where the little eyeglass repair kit is.
It's somewhere.
Moving is tough. Like if you, I know in my brain where it was in our old house, but here it's like I don't know where it ended up.
All right.
All right, so I'm a 9.5 out of 10. You're a 10 out of 10.
So coming up later tonight, I will be doing a recording with Mr. Tony the Dead. Hopefully it still goes through. I know he's going through a tough time right now. But I think we are doing at least my pick for Ghouls at Midnight, which will be Bloodstalkers from 1976. So won't be live, but we're recording it. I'll have it up tonight for sure, so people can check it out. Tomorrow, I'll be hooking up with Century to do the next Kaiju Spotlight on Titanosaurus. And Friday, I'm not sure who all's all involved with that, but the Retro Movie Show on Kevin Lambert's channel, we were doing Legend with Tom Cruise and Mia Farrow.
I'll definitely watch.
And then next Tuesday, I believe Anthony Jordan, Kevin Lambert, and I, for the next Cinemax Synergy, we were doing, I think it's from 97 as well, as Mimic with Mia Savino.
I feel like
That's
I've
the
seen.
one where people are bugs. They turn into
Oh,
bugs.
yeah, I have.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
See.
Yo.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Not a lot grosses me out.
Well, the whole premise behind that's scary as fuck.
It does. It like I don't know why bugs gross me out, and not just like roaches and centipedes. Bugs, roaches and centipedes. Spiders do not scare me. Ants.
Well, spiders definitely not scary. Otherwise, she'd be like, "Burn it down."
I have to show you after we go off the air. They did a job announcement or a new hire announcement that they sent out to the team, and it's like a picture of me with like a little blurb, and it's like Melissa, I don't know, but there's like a line in it that says Melissa has 2 house-trained bunnies, Mr. Peabody and Meg, while her husband raises 18 tarantulas.
Meanwhile, I'll be like, we're going to stay away from that one.
No, there were so many people curious about it. You have 18 tarantulas? I'm like, yeah.
19, actually. Well, as I always do on this show, I have a nice little tribute, which is a little bit extra at the end for Mr. Kilmer.
Oh.
But this is a tribute to this film, of course, a few clips with some music I actually
And
took
he
from the
looks
soundtrack.
good in this film.
Yeah, so
my
good.
God. Oh, my bangs don't look good. Hold on.
Anyway.
Let me fluff my bangs before we do our little fade out.
Please like and subscribe to the channel. We appreciate the support as always. Like and subscribe to our collaborators that we work with as well. Great channels with great content. And yeah, we'll see you next time on the Military Radio Podcast.
Pictures black and white or color. There's a postcard sent from heaven. Says make the most of never, never. Horizon starts right here. The future's always near. Sorrow, celluloid, monochrome, or color. Don't want to end in tears. I'll leave before my fears confirmed. Scared to learn. Wasted night.